Hello, Collateral Gaming listeners. Chazzle Dazzle here from the Trial by Error Variety Show podcast. I just wanted to take a few seconds to invite you guys over to what we do. No, it's not video games, but we do invite really awesome and unique bands from all over the world. We dig deep into their souls and find really cool stories to tell you, and there's tons of music every week, so subscribe to us wherever you subscribe to your podcast. We look forward to having you.
Welcome to Collateral Gaming Bonus Round. I'm Ashley Chancellor.
And I'm Zachary Gio. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas! Happy holidays to everyone. Happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. Or if you don't celebrate, it's okay. We're here to talk about the holidays. We're here to talk about video games. And it's actually Christmas Day today, huh?
Yes, sir. This is really cool. You know, we kind of made the plan earlier in the week that we were going to record on Christmas Day, and I've been looking forward to it. You know, it's been a while since I've been in a little recording session with you, and I've missed it, so it's good to be back. It's good to be talking about some video games, and we've got a really good selection today, don't we?
We really do. But I mean, how was your Christmas, man?
Honestly, it was awesome. You know, I stayed up until about 2, I think, playing Rocket League and Call of Duty with some friends, because got a buddy that came home and he was finally on some good internet, so he wanted to play some competitive Rocket League, which broke my heart, but that game always does. But it was good, you know. Woke up this morning, had a nice breakfast, shared some gifts, shared some laughs, found out that Nate put my cat on the roof. And, yeah, he did it twice. It was hilarious. And we're in our living room, and I look up and see the windows to the skylight, and I just see her walking on the roof meowing, and I'm like, oh! So I'm just like, how'd she get up there? Ah! But it was good. I got my dad. My dad is a war veteran. He fought in the Gulf War, and when he was overseas, he used to play Super Mario Bros. On the Game Boy Color. And so I kind of brought that back for him this year. I got him a Game Boy Advance SP so that he can play.
Oh, shit.
It's legendary. I found one for $75. Not too bad. And I ordered some games this morning because they had no Mario games for him, or really any games that he could get into. So I ordered some off of Amazon this morning. They should be here next week. But Christmas is good. Got to hang out with my family. Nate's in town. Also, at the time that we're recording this right now, for Ash it's 3:20, but for me it's 4:20.
Hey!
And we are a friendly podcast towards that. So whatever you got, smoke it if you got it.
Hell yeah!
What about you, man?
Bro.
How was your Christmas morning?
Christmas was awesome. I woke up. We stayed at my parents' house. And it was me and my wife and our daughter, and my sister was over. She lives out of state, so it was nice to have her over again. And my brother was there, and so we all sat around. Hazel had a lot of gifts to open.
You
it
said
was
your
really,
brother
really
was there?
awesome. Yeah, Dakota was there.
North or south? Sorry. What is this? Is this an episode with me if I don't make a pun?
It's not an episode if Zach doesn't make a pun. Got some games for Christmas. Some of the games that we're doing later this season, actually. So that was really, really nice. I one of the games I had before and I had to replace, and some of the other ones are nice to have now because we're gonna be able I'll be able to play them, so I can talk about them. So that's cool. But I guess we'll go ahead and dive right into it. This is a bonus round after all, and so we're gonna be talking about one of the only holiday themed games that came to mind for me, and that is Batman Arkham Origins.
Oh, really good installment. Not in my opinion, not as good as the other three, but you know, It's a story that takes place 5 years prior to the events of Arkham Asylum. Not really a very refined Batman, but still a really cool game, really good experience. You know, you get to go around Gotham City on Christmas Eve.
On Christmas Eve.
Hunting down, what's his name? Black Knight? What's it?
Black Mask.
Black Mask, sorry. You're hunting down Black Mask while also avoiding these 8 treacherous villains that are hunting you because there's a bounty on your head, while also avoiding the cops. It's a good experience.
Yeah. And it's set earlier in Batman's career than the previous games were, so this is set before Asylum. And what's interesting is to maintain, kind of continuity, they did actually try not to implement some of the gadgets that he gets later on. Like, in this game, he uses the grapnel boost instead of the grapnel accelerator instead of the grapnel boost, which functionally is the same. It's just not as fast. And we definitely get a more, I want to say, a rougher Batman,
Oh, yeah. No, he's definitely, like I said a little bit earlier, he's nowhere nearly as refined. And it's a lot more rough around the edges. He's still trying to figure out this whole hero routine, while at the same time, he hasn't really gotten the good graces of GCPD yet.
Right.
And he's got a lot of people hunting him. He's got a bounty on his head. I don't exactly remember how much the bounty is for. It's been a while since I played the game. But he's a lot more merciless of a bat.
Yeah.
To think about it, because he's a lot more on the defensive, and how can you not be when you have 8 of the world's most dangerous criminals hunting you down, and it's Christmas Eve, so the collateral damage is it could potentially be a lot higher, with the events that happen. So
yeah, I would think that this is a Batman that's a little bit more similar to Robert Pattinson's Batman that we're gonna get in the upcoming Batman film.
Oh yeah. And by the way, if you guys do an episode about that on Collateral Cinema, count me in. I would love to be there.
Hell yeah, that looks great, dude. I am really excited about it. Something else, that this game featured was the villain Black Mask. So anybody that saw Birds of Prey will recognize Roman Sionis, a.k.a. Black Mask. He's kind of the primary antagonist, or so it seems.
Wink, wink. Wink, wink.
I guess since this is a bonus round, we're not going to spoil who the real villain is, but it won't surprise you. Well, it'll surprise you, but also not surprise you.
It'll surprise you, but in the end, you'll be expecting it because he's, who he is.
He is who he is. I think that's already saying too much, but fuck it. This is our podcast. But yeah, Arkham Origins is the only game in the franchise to not be developed by Rocksteady. So it actually was developed by WB Games Montreal. And in a lot of ways, it's considered like probably the most underrated title in the Arkham series. Definitely not held in as high favor as some of the other games, especially, Arkham City.
No, of course not. It is definitely the black sheep of the whole experience, the whole franchise. And the fact that they didn't use the same voice actors for the characters, like Kevin Conroy isn't Batman. I don't even know who is. I don't really care enough to know. You might know, but it just, if it's not Kevin Conroy in an animated or game scenario, I don't really care much for it. I will say though, Arkham Origins has by and far some of the best boss fights in a game like that I've ever played. Like the encounter with Deathstroke is my favorite fight in video game history. That, and when you're fighting Bane on top of the Bane. Yeah, that's gonna be the bane of my existence. Badum-tis. But no, when you're fighting him on top of the rooftop and you're fighting him alongside his goons, and he just keeps juicing up, and you have to continue to jump on his back and rip out the what are they? The two apply that stuff. To
Venom, right?
Yeah, Venom.
Yeah.
Gosh, look at me being uneducated.
It's Roger Craig Smith who voices Batman, and you may not recognize his name, but you'll recognize some of the characters he plays, such as Sonic the Hedgehog, Ezio Auditore da Firenze.
What?
Yeah, Chris Redfield from Resident Evil, Deidara in Naruto Shippuden. He also he's the main character in Dying Light, Kyle Crane, yeah, and he's Mirage in Apex Legends. There you go. He's in Bleach as well, regular show. Wow, yeah,
I did not put that together. Ever since we did that combined episode where we were supposed to talk about Apex Legends, but we really just shot the shit for like 3 hours. It was great. We never talked about Apex once, but no, ever since that podcast, I've been playing Apex almost every single day, and Mirage is one of my mains. I'd never put that connection together. That's crazy.
Yeah, he's not Kevin Conroy, so it does throw you off, but I think he does a good enough job. I don't know why they couldn't get Kevin Conroy. I mean, they got him in the next game, Arkham Knight, but
I thought Kevin Conroy had like a contract with Rocksteady, and that's why he didn't do it, because WB Montreal, it wouldn't have coincided very well. And plus, it's kind of a spin-off story if you think about it. While it does kind of fall within the main timeline, it's set 5 years before Arkham Asylum. It still didn't feel like a game that fit very well with the rest of the franchise,
Right.
So, and I mean, if you're gonna have a game that goes with the remainder of with the rest of the franchise, you gotta use the same voice actor. So that automatically put it off for me. But the fact that he's Sonic and Ezio, you said Robert Craig Smith,
Roger Craig Smith.
Roger Craig Smith. My bad. That is insane. I did not know that. That's crazy.
Yeah. I remember, actually, I had read up on that before, and I just double-checked it, because I was like, I think that's the same guy. Yeah, it's Roger Craig Smith. He did Batman. There is another character who is not voiced by their iconic voice actor, and it throws me off as well. And I think it throws me off because they're so close to being the same voice, but it's just ever so slightly off. It's almost kind of like the effect you get with Uncanny Valley. It's like it's almost more unsettling because it's so close.
Yeah, it's like you're going grocery shopping and you really want Gushers, but you can't afford the name brand, so you get like the great value, like juice-filled gum snacks.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah, and I know exactly who you're talking about, and you can't portray this character with anybody else. He's a legend.
Yeah.
And people who are veterans to these kind of games will know exactly who we're talking about. But if you haven't experienced this game, just go in and play it. It's not that bad. It's a Batman experience. It's just not one that satisfies those people with the need for nostalgia, with a need for continuity. If you like Batman, you'll enjoy the game. If that,
Yeah, I think for what it is, it was a good filler. It's kind of a good spin-off game. It's kind of like if you were to compare a handheld Zelda game to a main series Zelda game. You know what I mean?
Ooh, yes. And I'm so glad you said that, because one of the Christmas presents I received, I know we're going a little off topic here, but a buddy of mine asked me to watch his dogs for a week. And he's like, he said, if you do this, I will be happy to buy you a game or something. What game would you like? And I never really got the chance to play it all the way through, but they remade Link's Awakening for the Switch.
Yes.
And so I've started playing that, and it is beautiful.
Oh, it is
so
good.
So good. That we said that simultaneously on my screen, and that just made it so much more impactful. But yeah, I know we won't go off on a tangent about that, but that is a beautiful remake. Link's Awakening used to be one of my favorite games of all time. I beat it countless times on the Game Boy Color, and now I have a chance to relive it in 60 FPS on the Switch with some of the most beautiful area designs and track remixes ever. Okay, but back to Batman.
Fuck yeah, dude. Also, I wanted to piggyback off of what you said. The Deathstroke fight is awesome. I mean, it is just fast paced, and I think the best way to go about that fight is just to keep going. Just square, triangle, triangle, triangle.
You have to be, if you're playing on a difficulty that's like above normal, or even on normal sometimes if you don't have really quick reflexes, you have to time those counters perfectly.
Yeah.
Slade Wilson is merciless in that game. That fight takes forever, by the way. It takes like 20 minutes to get through the fight if you're like not... Oh, the animations, being able to parry his sword strikes or his battering hits into combos, and then you can like stun him with your cape and then just do your casual Arkham beatdown. It's so good, and it flows so well, and the cutscene at the end of it where you like finally best him and you kick him into the wall and then stick his sword like in front of him and you just kind of block him off. It's over, Slade.
Yes, it's so awesome. Some of the items in this game are awesome as well. Speaking of Deathstroke, the item that you get after his fight, the remote claw,
Yes, sir.
I thought in some ways was cooler than the line launcher, except for the fact that the line launcher can be used anywhere and the remote claw can only be used on certain targets. But besides that, the fact that you can aim it at something else and create a zip line, or a tightrope, and you can even hang up enemies to vantage points. That's awesome. That opens up a whole lot of more opportunities for Predator missions.
Yeah, it's really cool that you say that too. But I kind of agree with you there, and at the same time, it's not the line launcher. You're right, but this kind of pays homage to the fact that this is a young. Sorry, my cat just ran into the closet. But this kind of pays homage to the fact that this is indeed a younger Batman. His skills are still being refined. His gadgets, he's still working on them, trying to make them perfect. And this game does that really well. Hats off to WB Montreal for making a spin-off Batman that really kind of shows the growth within Bruce Wayne and how he really turns into Gotham's Dark Knight. And it's really awesome. The setting is so cool because it's constantly snowing everywhere. It is a beautiful game. I will say that.
In true Arkham fashion, of course, the game takes place over the course of a single night.
Oh yeah.
So in this case, it's Christmas Eve, and Alfred just keeps trying to get you to come in and enjoy your Christmas dinner, but Bruce Wayne's like, "Nah, man, I've got to deal with 8 assassins." And then he's like, "Well, if you just stayed home, couldn't the assassins not get you?" And he's like, "No, but yeah, they'll put innocents at risk, so I got to get them."
I mean, like a hero. Like a good hero, Batman is there. Oh, I'm sorry. God, that was awful.
I will say, what Arkham Origins does well, I think, are a lot of the boss fights. One of the fights that I like in particular, it's not a traditional boss fight, but it's one of the main assassins, was with Deadshot. I like how you had to continually take him out with silent takedowns. But, well, no, you can't use silent takedowns. You have to use noisy ones. But you had to keep, getting him with stealth takedowns, and he doesn't go down in one hit. So you have to keep doing it and then zip away.
Yeah, no, Floyd Lawton is not somebody to play with. Like,
No.
Deadshot's nasty. Now, granted, I hated Suicide Squad. I haven't seen Birds of Prey, so I won't knock that movie until I watch it. But Will Smith portrayed a very, very awesome Floyd Lawton. And Ash, have you seen the show Arrow?
I haven't. My brother has watched all of the Arrowverse and all of everything.
It's so good. Like, I don't know who the actor is, but the guy that they got to portray Floyd Lawton, spectacular.
Yeah.
And it's made me fall in love with his character. So I love Deadshot, and it's no surprise that you can't stealth take down him in one shot because he's a master with any type of weapon. Like, literally, I don't know if he has a superpower or if he's just insane with firearms because he literally bullseyes everything. His name's Deadshot. I mean, come on.
Evidently, he's just that good. So it is no superpowers involved. But
and he got started with it because his family was killed. And that, to me, is a really good origin story for any good villain. And now he's just an assassin for hire taking on bounties and whatever he can. And it's no surprise that he shows up as one of the assassins in Origins because he's a classic DC bad guy.
Exactly, yeah.
Sorry, that's Christmas dinner trying to come back and revisit me.
One of the other boss fights that I thought was cool was Copperhead. She made like multiple shadow clones of herself.
Yes.
That was a joke. They weren't actual shadow clones.
I'm trying to access my memory because it's been a long time since I've played this game.
She injects Batman with a hallucinogen, and so he fights like multiple copies of her, and that makes that fight, faster. But once he gets the antidote, he like takes her down in one shot.
Yep, and she knew that too. That's why she did that. She's like, "There's no way I can take on this guy head on."
Yeah.
But hey, whatever you got to do to get that big bank, because what do you remember the exact total of the bounty on Bruce's head?
No, I don't. And I just played it, but I don't seem to recall that number. But even so, Batman's got 8 assassins to contend with. I think some of them are technically optional to the main story, but I mean you're gonna want to do it.
Yeah, it helps if you fight all 8 because, I mean, come on, that's extra content. If you're really into the game, do as much as you can. And plus, the whole story revolves around the fact that he's got assassins hunting him while he's after Black Mask. It's on Christmas Eve. I'll say that a million more times. But if you don't face all 8 assassins, are you really enjoying the game to the fullest? Like with Arkham Asylum, City, and Night, I did literally everything you could, including the Riddler trophies in Night. And that
Yeah.
broke my brain.
That must be hard, dude.
It was difficult.
Riddler
But
challenges
this
are
is
back,
coming-
but he's called Enigma this time.
Yep. Oh yeah, wasn't that his name earlier on before he became the Riddler? Edward Nigma. He was just Enigma.
He was just Enigma. And Batman kind of calls him that because he's like, I'm a mystery. He's like, Enigma then. And then, from the rest of the game, he's known as Enigma. But it's the Riddler. Instead of Riddler trophies, we've got these Enigma data packs. But it's essentially the same thing. I will say,
Yep.
I did feel that the puzzles were a bit weak compared to the Arkham series. And even the combat seemed to be easier than I remember it being. So
Fresh Batman.
I feel like this game is a little bit watered down as compared to Rocksteady games, but I definitely think it's worth checking out. Still, I think it's if you're gonna play through all the Batman Arkham games, I think this is definitely a good. I think you should play through this one as well because it's just more Batman. Can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, no, you can't. And we'll touch back to this. I mean, for as long as we continue to talk about this, but everything that they do in the game, you said that the puzzles weren't as difficult. The combat seemed a little bit easier. This all kind of stems back to the fact that this is a younger, less experienced Batman.
True,
and
that's
it kind of adds to the feel of the game, which I really like. A game, I mean, we're going to talk about Breath of the Wild here in a few minutes, and while I love that game, I don't like the fact that from the second you wake up in the Shrine of Resurrection, you can just pick up whatever weapon and be a complete badass. I like the fact, I wish they would have done something where Link was a little bit slow, and like you had to legitimately go and learn skills before getting off of the Great Plateau instead of just being able to climb every single surface. And I like the fact that they're showing growth in Batman. While I'm not a fan of the voice actors, I do like the younger feel of this character. And honestly, being able to take on Deathstroke and best him really surprised me. And that's why that fight is so hard. It is a hard fight. The first time I faced Deathstroke, he probably beat me like 10 or 20 times, and that's not a joke.
Yeah,
like I
it took a few
died
dives.
so many times. Yeah, dude, every boss fight in that game is difficult, and that's because you're dealing with a less experienced Batman, and I love that. Games that are challenging are more intriguing to me. And while Breath of the Wild is really hard, if you don't have armor, you're going to die in like 1 or 2 hits by some of these tougher enemies, aka Lizalfos on the Bridge of Hylia, or any test of strength. Yeah, if you don't have armor, yeah, I discovered that because Zelda Breath of the Wild was my first open world RPG ever. And so I didn't have good armor at all, and I was getting so mad because I couldn't beat this one major test of strength. And my friend Dylan was sitting next to me. Shout out to Dylan Peters, the homie. I haven't seen him in a while. But he was like, yeah, dude, you just don't have good armor at all. You need to go get some better armor. And I got better armor, came back, beat it on the first try.
Hell
I was like, oh, that's how that works.
All right.
Sorry to go off on a little tangent there.
No, you're good. Actually, I guess that kind of segues us into the second part of this podcast. So we're going to actually be talking about the Breath of the Wild sequel, as was announced, I want to say a couple years ago.
2019 EA.
Yeah, okay, so last year.
Or E3.
Last year is when it was announced. That is not it's not Age of Calamity, by the way. That's a separate project. So Breath of the Wild, untitled Breath of the Wild sequel. Breath of the Wild 2 is what people are be calling it. So yeah, we're gonna jump right into that, but let's take a short break, and we'll get into Zelda, and we'll explain how this relates to the holiday theme.
They call it Breaths of the Wilds. Since it's a sequel, it's plural.
This city has a problem. Some freak who thinks he's a hero. Luckily, there ain't a problem in the world that can't be solved with a little bit of money. Tonight, we all win. One of you walks away with $50 million. And the rest, well, we get rid of the Batman.
Where's Black Mask?
Let me go!
If you insist.
Nice of you to drop in.
All right. Welcome back to Collateral Gaming, my sexy ass listeners / viewers, whoever you are. I love you.
You know how
for
to butter
joining
'em,
us.
dude.
You are exactly right, like popcorn. Oh yes, father. But we are back to talk about one of mine and one of Ash's favorite things in the world, The Legend of Zelda. And what better topic to talk about than The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild and its upcoming sequel, which we don't know the name of, so we're just going to call it Breath of the Wild 2, which it was announced at E3 2019, and Ash and I had not been in communication with each other yet. We met earlier this year. Really, I mean, I'd known him since like 2015, 2016, but we didn't really talk or have a friendship. But now we can really get into it, man. I wish you and I wish you and I were homies back when Breath of the Wild was dropping.
I know. That would have
Oh
been
my
awesome.
God. Yeah, I had a friend named Jaden. Shout out to him, who every single day I talked to him. Like, we would send each other like countdown pictures of Breath of the Wild with like 6 days to launch, 5 days. And then the morning of, what was it, March 3rd, 2017? Yeah, March 3rd, 2017. It dropped on a Friday morning. I had gone to Walmart the night before at midnight to get my Switch because I had it pre-ordered from there. And then at 10 o'clock on Friday morning, I went to GameStop, picked up my copy, and I was home and I played for the rest of the day. It was a magical experience.
Hell
But
yeah.
now, today we're going to be talking about the upcoming, hopefully soon, COVID willing, sequel to this game and what our thoughts are going to be on it, you know, what we think might happen. We're going to relate back to events that happened in Age of Calamity. So, spoiler warning, if you haven't played Age of Calamity, you might want to press pause, go play the whole game, and come back because we're going to get into it. I am working on Age of Calamity right now, and I gotta say, for a not Zelda game, it's one of my favorites. I love it. The story is incredible.
Okay, but how far are you in the game?
I just raided and destroyed the Yiga clan's hideout.
Okay.
So I don't know how far that is from the end, but I do have the Master Sword.
You do have the Master Sword. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you get new characters yet? Did new characters come in yet?
The only new character, well, it's not necessarily a new character, and I've already forgotten his name. Oh my God, he's got maracas. He's a Korok. What's his name?
Hestu.
Yeah, that's the only character that I haven't really interacted with or played as.
Damn, we can't go into full spoilers then. We can't go into full spoilers because I have a theory about this game. And
Is there a lot more to go? Do I have a lot longer to go? Because I just got the Master Sword and I just beat Suka.
I'd reckon you're maybe halfway through.
Dude, I've been playing this game forever. Oh my God. Dude,
I mean, you still got a big thing coming up.
My Link is like level 37.
Basically, well, I say halfway, but it probably is closer to like 2/3. Probably. I don't know.
Well, this
anyway.
Game, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Anyway, let's talk about Breasts of the Wild 2. Is there a porn parody called Breasts of the Wild? Because there should be.
Probably.
Hey, wait. Do you want to do like we should do a bonus round on porn games, like wetpussygames.com or something.
Sure. I just don't know how much research I'd be willing to do on that. You know, I would probably just be that guy on the sideline laughing about it the whole time and putting in my 2 cents because I'm not the biggest advocate of that. But at the same time, it would be an interesting topic because there are a lot of them. This game will make you come in 20 seconds.
That 20 seconds. All right. No, for real. Breath of the Wild 2. So we got a trailer. Not very much to go on, but we saw what seems to be Ganondorf's corpse.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Link and Zelda look different. Excuse me. Link and Zelda look different. They've got different outfits. Zelda's hair is a little shorter. A lot shorter.
Actually, it's really cute. I thought that the look is really nice. Link looks a lot more refined, to be honest. He looks like a lot more confident in everything that he's doing, which, granted, if you put enough time into Breath of the Wild, then you know how badass Link is and everything that you can do. It's just, I really am excited about this game. The music in the trailer, oh God, sorry. The music in the trailer is absolutely beautiful, but it's also terrifying and like broken up, almost distorted. And it kind of gives you an element of horror, especially with this creature that seems to be Ganondorf, kind of like snapping his neck and looking at the camera.
Yeah, it was kind of scary,
like
actually.
Awakening. If they add an element of horror to this game, that would be sickening. Plus, I mean, let's be honest. The Legend of Zelda is a very generational title. Now, if you grew up playing The Legend of Zelda, I would love to have a more adult Legend of Zelda game. Obviously,
definitely.
Still with a very wholesome Link, of course, because he's silent. You know, he's the hero. You know, he's not. But, and I'm not talking like God of War adult. Like, I don't want the opportunity to like interact and, you know, bang Hyrulean women.
What I'm told is that The Witcher is basically that.
Yeah. Okay.
But
makes sense.
I haven't
Good
played the
show,
Witcher
too.
series, so
Wild Hunt is incredible. I highly recommend it. Seriously, very good game.
but
this,
yeah. Go ahead.
no, go. This game, it needs to come out like soon. We don't really know that much about it at all, except that it takes place in the exact same universe, same art style. It looks to be a direct sequel of Breath of the Wild, and so they're going to continue the story. Ash, you and I were.
Is it a sequel to Breath of the Wild, or does it take place in the Age of Calamity timeline?
I'm not sure. I really hope that this is a sequel because, let's be honest, well, I would want to say that it's a sequel because in Age of Calamity, her hair is long and she's just trying to figure out her prowess. And let's be honest, her and Link exploring a dark cave where, you know, Ganondorf's corpse is. This seems like a very, very much later development because it was just the two of them. I feel like if this was Age of Calamity,
all the champions would be
the
there.
The champions would be with them. So I'm thinking that this is post Breath of the Wild.
Probably.
Because at the end of Breath of the Wild, after you beat Dark Beast Ganon, very lame and easy fight, by the way. Beautifully done, but very easy and not
epic
fun.
fight. Just very easy, yeah.
Yeah, and at the end of the game, you guys are sitting on a hillside just pondering the future. And what I'm thinking this is could be just Link and Zelda exploring after that time, and they come across some ancient relics that lead to a corpse of Ganondorf, and I think they might accidentally activate something because in the cutscene, Link has the Master Sword. So what if the Master Sword's presence activates something that starts the cycle again?
Oh, okay.
Ganondorf coming back, and this same hero has 2 encounters with Ganondorf, and this will be the first time in the history of The Legend of Zelda that one hero has faced Ganon twice.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, no, not except. The Oracle games don't count because yes, you can main Link and return Link those games, but you don't face Ganon twice. You only face him once.
Face Ganon once after both linked games. Yeah, that's an interesting point. I'd never thought about that, and I like that idea because in Breath of the Wild, Calamity Ganon was just like a malevolent force. It didn't even really seem to have any kind of sapience or real human intelligence. It was basically just Ganon has reincarnated so many times. He's just malice incarnate. And I think that was the actual term. You know, it's just pure evil. You know, and manifested. So getting to see the human Ganondorf, or should I say Gerudo, I think is going to be very interesting. And I like that. If Link faces him twice, I mean, that'll be a really awesome contrast. And that'll be, like, again, breaking the cycle. Something that Breath of the Wild did quite a bit of was breaking conventions in Zelda. And that's actually what Nintendo went at the game with doing. I mean, they even planned on having fucking spaceships. Did you hear about that? Like,
I am so glad that they didn't go with it because that would have been very weird. I think they could have done more with the story in Breath of the Wild, but overall, Breath of the Wild's a masterpiece, and it deserved the ratings that it got. Now, another thing I've been thinking about, Ash, you and I were talking about this earlier about how Breath of the Wild's story it's kind of lacking. But what if they did that on purpose? to create one of the greatest video games of all time, which will be this sequel with one of the most masterful Legend of Zelda stories. I'm still an advocate for Skyward Sword having the best story in the Legend of Zelda. Like, that game, by a long shot, has the best story in the entire series, the entire franchise. But what if that's what they were setting up with Breath of the Wild? This Link in Breath of the Wild wakes up after 100 years slumber, the calamity that took out all the champions and finally allowed Zelda to bring out her divine power to seal Ganon away, to protect Hyrule. And then Link is asleep for 100 years, and he wakes up, and he doesn't have his memories. He doesn't know what to do or where to go. He has no idea what's happening. He finally gets to the top of the tower, and he sees Calamity Ganon in the distance. And that's the start of this entire cycle. What if they are preparing for one of the most deep and intricate stories? And that's another reason why they did the Divine Beasts the way they did. The Divine Beasts were dungeons, quote unquote, but they weren't hard. You know, they weren't really technically challenging. Now, Vaughn Aboris, that one was difficult. And the Thunderblight Ganon was one of the hardest boss fights in the game. I will say that Thunderblight is harder than Calamity Ganon.
Oh,
because
definitely.
that's just a tough fight. It's really hard. Now, when I finally went to Vaughn Aboris, because I did him last, I was kind of OP already. I had like 16 hearts and the Master Sword, and I was just, let's go balls to the wall. So let's just do it. And so, you know, what if they're setting up for one of the greatest stories in the history of video games / now I'm biased, of course, because I'm a huge Zelda fan, and so any Zelda game that they give me, unless it's just complete crap, is going to bless my life. You know, but what if they used Breath of the Wild and created an accidental masterpiece because it got like perfect scores across the board, and the gameplay is beautiful. The scenery, it literally takes 45 minutes from the southwest corner of Gerudo Desert to the northeast corner past that little labyrinth of the Akala province. It takes like 45 minutes to sprint across the entire map. It's huge.
It is massive. I tried doing it one time. I tried moving diagonally across the map, and it takes a long time. I think I quit after some time. But
that just sorry. That just shows you how much time and effort they put into the game. But go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're fine. One other thing I wanted to mention too, because you mentioned Link has the Master Sword in the trailer. For the first time in the Zelda series, Link doesn't return the Master Sword at the end of Breath of the Wild. He still has it.
Oh my God, that thought went completely through my brain. Thank you for saying that and blowing my mind. You're right.
Yeah.
Because usually, well, that's the thing. Typically at the end of a Zelda adventure, that reincarnation of the hero has done his job. It's over. But what if there's something within Link that says, I'm not finished. This blade needs to stay with me because I'm still young, I'm still in my prime, Zelda is still here, and I still need to protect her, even though these two at the end of Breath of the Wild seem like they're starting to fall for each other, and a little bit. Like, there was no more there's no Zelda game has more romance than Skyward Sword.
None.
It was obvious that those two wanted to be together, but at the end of Breath of the Wild, they sort of hint at these two developing a relationship.
They do.
And Link is in his prime, he's powerful, and he knows that there is more evil out there that he can take out because the sword chose him. As long as he had 13 hearts. The sword chose him. So, yeah, I remember trying to pull the sword out with 12 hearts and it killed me and I was so mad. And I just had to go finish one more shrine and go back and get it. But
that's funny.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Think about what they could do with this, man.
I know. And one thing that I mentioned to you the other day is, Nintendo could totally reuse the entire map from Breath of the Wild, and a lot of fans would probably not even be mad. I'm hoping that they're not going to just do that and we get a new game world, but I mean, I would be okay with it.
What if they use the same map, but they add a story element to where Ganondorf completely ruins everything, minus, Hyrule Castle still being in the center of the map. He completely rearranges it to where the Akala region is different, distorted, and it's in the southeast corner. Like the Tabantha Hills are in the northwest corner. The Snow Peak is in the southern corner. What they could rearrange it and change the layout. Like the Lanayru province could be in the west, where they could do so much.
It's not like Hyrule hasn't shifted locations completely in the past.
it completely. They could do literally whatever they wanted, but if they did reuse the same map, they would just have to change the layout of, like, let's say if they did shrines again of some sort, which I don't think they'll do that again. I think they'll do something different because Link, technically, he has completed all the shrines. You know, he's the hero. He's gotten to maximum strength and went and faced Calamity Ganon and finished him off. What I'm hoping that they do is that they make a linear storyline, but it's long. It's really long. Like, I'm talking Link to the Past amount of dungeons long, except these dungeons are difficult and they're intricate. Or, you know, because in Link to the Past, you could do any dungeon out of order. You could do them as long as you could get there. You could do them in whatever order you wanted. Like,
and once you got to the Dark World, I think you could do dungeons in whatever order.
Yeah. So what if they did something like that? You know, which they kind of did with Breath of the Wild. You could do any divine beast. It just, depending on how you were kitted, made it difficult. You know, if you went to Vonneboris first, you're going to have a hell of a time beating that thing. It's going to be hard.
Yeah.
So, but if you go there at the end of the game like I did, it'll be a breeze until you fight Thunderblight, because that's a hard fight, no matter how you slice the cake.
I always do Vonneboris last. It's definitely a last type. But, yeah, I'm hoping, what I hope is that, and what I predict is going to happen is that we'll get gameplay that's very similar to Breath of the Wild. I think that's the direction that they're going in from Zelda from here on. Breath of the Wild is kind of the new Ocarina of Time, and so every game's going to follow that formula for a while. But I definitely think that they'll progress a little bit and make things a little bit different. They'll
make the user interface a little bit different. They'll make the way, like, flurry rushes, they'll make them more advanced. They'll make the runes look a little bit more updated, you know, because the runes will stay apart. You'll keep the Sheikah Slate. You'll use that.
That's what I was wondering is, like, what are we going to do with the Sheikah Slate? Are we keeping the old runes? Are we going to add some new ones? You know, are we going to have more traditional items in this game? What I was kind of hoping is what they do with this game is kind of add some, because Breath of the Wild is almost perfect, but if they had added a little bit more of that traditional Zelda feel in there, I think I would have been happier with it.
Yeah, I was kind of bummed about that too. I missed the hook shot, and I thought the hook shot in that world would have been amazing.
Not even necessarily items, like runes would be fine. It's just like in Breath of the Wild, you get all 4 runes at the very beginning of the game. So there is not that feeling of getting a new item that can be used to explore the world, or you know, there's no that they with the Divine Beast, what they did is they ended up having central mechanics that you get instead of having a central item that unlocks everything in the dungeon. But it kind of...
You're talking about Rivali's Gale, right? And stuff like that?
No. I'm talking about the Divine Beasts themselves moved.
Okay.
And so I think that was cool. Don't get me wrong. I like that change, but I kind of missed the aha moment of discovering something. And maybe it's because you get that Divine Beast mechanic so early on and the Divine Beasts were all pretty fast, and they all kind of felt the same. That's a criticism that the game gets a lot. So I would like to get more of that traditional feel where all the dungeons are different, and maybe let's actually have dungeon items, or they can be Sheikah Slate runes, or they can even do something more similar to what they did with the Divine Beast, but put it later on in the dungeon so that you actually feel like you're turning it around. And let's take something out in the world. You know, if we're going to add items or runes in this game, let's have, instead of getting them all in the beginning of the game, let's give you the option to explore the world better. So maybe there aren't parts of the world that are locked behind certain items, but you can solve puzzles in different ways or traverse obstacles in different ways depending on what items that you have.
Yeah, like, well, you were talking about that. It kind of gave me an idea. Excuse me. Let's say, you know, the Sheikah Slate is like a giant tablet, right? Uh-huh. What if, using the bomb rune, later on in the game, you get the ability to craft or draw out different types of bombs. Like, if you have an enemy that's in the distance, you could take out your tablet, draw a boomerang-shaped bomb, throw it at a Z-targeted enemy, and then detonate it the second it gets there. Instead of, like, trying... Awesome. It would be cool, you know? Or, like, if you're solving a puzzle that has a very specific type of crack in the wall, you could literally scan the wall with your Sheikah Slate, and it would create, it would create an outline of the crack, and you fill it in and create a bomb like that, place it in the wall, blow it up. Or you could craft different types of arrows, and you could continue to upgrade your Sheikah Slate throughout the game, because during Breath of the Wild, you go to Hateno Village, and you can only upgrade your Sheikah Slate like once for every rune.
Yeah.
You know,
Some of the
and
runes don't even get upgrades.
Yeah, like, well, stasis plus bombs don't get upgrades except for like the speed at which they fill back up, right?
Well, no, the cooldown is affected, but also with remote bomb, it's a bigger explosion. Remote bomb plus and stasis plus can freeze enemies. All of the runes do get cooldown. In the Champion's Ballad, they get cooldown reduction.
Okay. Well, what if they did like Magnesis Plus, where you could literally take jewelry or anything that's on an enemy and like lift the enemy up and throw them? What if you could? That would be cool, you know, because some of them have like earrings, some of them have swords. You could literally pick up an enemy because of the weapon it's holding and manipulate it because of that. You could literally pick up an enemy and throw it down onto its weapon.
Yeah, or
that they bring
Cryonis Plus could make more ice pillars, or like in Age of Calamity, you're not restricted to making them in water or something. I don't know.
Or Cryonis Plus, you could choose what height your ice pillar is, and so you could climb higher heights. You could like get a boost up onto a ledge. Let's say your stamina will run out before you get up there unless you have like climbing gear or stamina potions. What if you could like increase the height of your ice pillars to where you could make it easier to get onto a ledge or climb higher in a shrine to get to a chest easier. There's so many little things that they could add to this game that would make it really cool. Like stasis, you could make it to where the stasis effect doesn't harm you could upgrade your stasis to where it doesn't hurt the durability of your weapons. At first it does, but you get an upgrade to where your weapons are basically fused with your Sheikah Slate to where it doesn't affect your durability. Another thing I'd like them to do is increase overall durability of stronger weapons.
Yes.
There was just, I mean, the master, and make it to where the Master Sword doesn't break. Because I hated that.
Well, it doesn't break, but it's a cooldown, yeah.
10 minutes?
I would like to see weapons have more durability for sure, because I think that was the thing, is that in Breath of the Wild there were just too many weapons and they ran out too quickly. And what would be nice would be an ability to kind of like, if you could repair weapons or enhance them, that would be nice. And so you could kind of hold on to a weapon for a while, and or just increase the durability so that they last a little bit longer, and then there's not so many items, because typically I just had too many weapons and not enough inventory space.
If you do get the Master Sword at the beginning of this new game, and depending on whether or not your Nintendo profile, if on your Nintendo profile you beat the Trial of the Sword and have a maxed out Master Sword, they carry that into the next game.
That would be cool.
Also, what if they hinted with Age of Calamity the fusion technique? You can fuse different weapons into each other to make them stronger and to level them up. What if they did that to increase durability and overall strength?
Oh, that would be perfect, actually, yeah. And you couldn't just do it anywhere. You'd have to find like a blacksmith or something, or find like an anvil somewhere. But what you could do is, once you got there, it'd be kind of like, having to go to a cooking pot to make meals. So, but once you got to one of those areas, you could fuse weapons together, and that would increase replenish some of the durability for the weapon. That's the base,
or all of it, depending on what kind of monsters or equipment or elixirs you have,
and then confer that onto the new, confer skills onto the new weapon. That would be perfect.
It would be really cool. And I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't always my favorite thing in Zelda, especially the Wind Waker, how difficult it was to get. And in Twilight Princess, how difficult it was to get. You had to do the Mallow side quest to get it. But if they had some form of magic armor in this game, that would be cool, because it's more open world. There's more dangerous stuff to run into. And let's say you run into a golden Lionel and you have 1 heart.
Yeah.
But you have like 30,000 rupees, because there was one point, Ash, where I had like 35, 40,000 rupees. And because I rupee farm a lot. Like, I'll go and I'll hunt down giant glistening rocks to get amber and rock salt, and I'd go and sell it just to farm rupees. Like, once you built Terrytown, I did so much trading and selling. It was crazy.
Yeah, that was one of the better side quests in the game, one of the longer ones. I didn't want to mention it. Twilight Princess HD actually fixes the magic armor, because it no longer drains your rupees while you're using them, which makes it useless. But in fact, it only drains rupees when you get hit. So I was glad that they made that change.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. There's no point like using the magic armor in the Wind Waker. Did they fix it for the Wind Waker HD? Like, does it drain your magic when you get hit, or does it just constantly run down?
Can't remember.
I'll have to go back and replay it, but I probably won't. So, because I've beaten the Wind Waker God knows how many times, and I love that game. Don't get me wrong, but there's only so many times you can play a video game that's linear.
Yeah.
But they did kind of tease an open world Zelda game with the Wind Waker. And I really liked being able to go anywhere at any time. You might not be able to do everything, but you could literally take the time and sail to every square on the map.
It certainly
in
was
the beginning of the game.
More open world than a lot of Zelda games were at the time. It was. I think the first game that really took that step in that direction, or took the biggest step in that direction, I should say. Because even the very first Zelda game, was technically open world in the sense that you could access the entire map at once, but that's almost become a standard for action adventure games at this time. That's just having an open map.
Yep.
But Wind Waker certainly was a lot closer to being open world. I will say Breath of the Wild is the only Zelda game that is truly open world in the sense of the term today and what that means.
Yep. Oh yeah, depending on your skill level. It's mainly based on skill, because if you're really good at Breath of the Wild, you can soar through the whole game with 3 hearts.
Yeah.
3 hearts and a dream, baby. And I wanted to do a live stream of Breath of the Wild when I get my equipment and just say 3 hearts and a dream.
Hell yeah.
And just go through. If you want to do that with me too, you're more than welcome.
That would be awesome.
It would be a lot of fun.
And
But
master
I remember.
Never mind. Fuck
Dude,
that.
that made me shiver a little bit, man. Oh, doing the Trial of the Sword in Master Mode is something I never want to do again. I did it, but there's like 15 guardians in the last room, dude.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah, and at least 3 of them are always shooting at you at the same time, so it's almost impossible to do the perfect guard. But I did see a clip on YouTube. Okay, so bless you, at the bottom of what was it? That giant trench. Bless you. North of Hyrule Castle, where there's like a ton of just sitting guardians. Go do it again. Bless you.
Thank you. I'm sorry, allergies out here, man.
No, you're good. There was like a cavern at the bottom of a trench behind the Hyrule Castle in the north side. If you got to sneeze again, just let that baby fly, dude. Just do it. I want to. Yes, baby. Bless you.
I'm not editing this, by the way. So
no, please don't. No, keep it in there, bro.
This is a bonus round. Everything that's in is in. Even if we accidentally say something we're not supposed to, if an N word drops, I'm sorry, it's staying in.
That's not gonna happen.
No, that's not gonna happen. I'm just kidding.
Oh man, my eyes got wide. I was like, nope.
Nope. No, we don't do that.
Yeah. The last shrine that I did was the shrine at the bottom of the cavern, north of Hyrule Castle, in the bottom of the trench, and that's where I got the Tunic of the Wild. But there's a room right before that where there is probably like 10 or 15 just sitting guardians waiting for you. And I sat in the corner.
Fuck that.
And they all target you simultaneously. And if you time it right, you can literally perfect guard every single one of them at one time. And I did that. And it was crazy. And I wish the Nintendo Switch had a little recording feature where you could record like a 30-second game clip at the time that I did it, because this was a couple years ago. But, dude, that type of thing, if you could time it on the Master Trial or the Master Mode Sword Trial of the Sword, I can't speak English. That would be perfect. Because honestly, if you can master perfect guarding, you can do the Trial of the Sword.
Yeah.
It's hard, but you can do it.
Yeah, I agree. But I've never actually beat Trial of the Sword, not even in regular mode, so I just didn't have the patience for it. When I died, I was like, nah, fuck that. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, I died like 6 or 7 times, and there were times where I took like almost a week break in between, because I was like, man, I'm a perfectionist. I have to do it. Like, I wanted to go through the game with a maxed out Master Sword, because
at some point I'm going to do it, but,
Yeah, When we did our top 5 item list, the Master Sword was my number 1.
Yeah.
I love that blade. And I will also say, going back to Age of Calamity for a second, Age of Calamity is not a standard Zelda game, but it has one of the coolest Master Sword cutscenes in the history of The Legend of Zelda.
It does, right? That Master Sword
It is
scene
awesome.
was awesome. It was definitely.
It wasn't Link grabbing the sword. The sword detected Link's presence and protected Zelda by eliminating those mirrors and basically calling out to Link saying, okay, it's time. You're here. Draw me now. And then you face the seer. And which I forgot his name. But
it's another moment like in Twilight Princess where, like we said in that episode, he just picks up the sword, out of instinct. I've got to, I do this. Nobody told him to do that. He didn't know that.
Yep.
They even directly mentioned about they talk about the hero that wields the sword that seals the darkness and had no idea that it was him. He knew, that hero blood or that hero soul.
Dude, imagine
hero
waking up one
spirit.
day and you're just Lonk. Imagine waking up one day and you're not Link, you're Lonk. You're the broken version of Link.
Is that like the Spoderman Link?
Yeah. I haven't heard of Spoderman in so long. Oh my god.
All right. Well, we're running up on an hour here, folks. But what are your? We'll end with this top thing that you just really hope makes its way into Breath of the Wild 2.
Intricate, difficult, and beautifully detailed dungeons. Dungeons need to come back because the Divine Beast just did not satisfy it. The boss fights were cool, and the way they were set up in the center of the Divine Beast was really cool, but dungeons need to come back. Skyward Sword had some of the best dungeons. Now, they don't necessarily have to be linear. I don't know how they would do intricate dungeons that aren't linear, because usually dungeons you have to do one thing to go to the next. But dungeons, motherfucking dungeons. Like, it needs to happen.
Yeah, I'm going to second that. Breath of the Wild did a good job of making even the dungeons open world, that you could tackle it in any way, but they could have made them more intricate, and they could have made them longer. That's all that I'm asking for. Definitely, by all means, let's have a dungeon where you have to, where you can go at it in any order and accomplish a certain number of tasks in the dungeon, right? But let's make it so that, maybe halfway through is whenever you get that central mechanic or an item that makes some of those points accessible, right?
Yep.
And so that's what I would say. What would be cool with me, for me too, would be that something that was missing in Breath of the Wild was the sense of,
discovery.
The journey changing in the sense of unlocking the world, right? Have you ever noticed since that most Zelda games, how there's almost always a midway point in the game where the quest changes? They accomplish what they were originally set out to do, and then suddenly the entire thing changes and it's a completely different story. In Twilight Princess, it was
Twilight Princess.
the Mirror of Twilight. They got the few shadows. Now it's the Mirror of Twilight. In the Wind Waker, it's you saved your sister. Now you got to collect the Triforce and awaken the Master Sword. In Skyward Sword, it's you found Zelda. But actually, it kind of happens twice, because first then you got to do the song.
The Song of the Hero,
Song
as
of
we
the
talked
Hero.
about, is
Song of the
it's
Hero.
a momentum killer, but it's fun.
Yeah, and then it's awakening the Master Sword. Yeah.
Yep. The only games where that really doesn't happen are the Oracle games. From the Oracle games and Link's Awakening. Like Link's Awakening, you have to, or the Minish Cap. Any of the top-down Zelda games don't really do that.
Yeah,
you have to find like the 8 pieces or the 8 essences of nature or time, the 8 musical instruments to wake the windfish,
or the original 8 pieces of the Triforce.
Yeah, dude. God, I've still never played or beaten. Well, I've played it, but I've never beaten the original Zelda.
Majora's Mask, which is my favorite Zelda game besides Breath of the Wild, also is the one that just has kind of that single quest, but it works for that reason.
Did Ocarina of Time switch halfway through?
Yeah, Adult Link.
Well, I thought that was the goal. Like, the goal was to save the princess the whole game, just however you did it.
Well, okay, your first quest is to collect the 3 spiritual stones and get the Master Sword, right? Your second quest is it's 7 years later, and now you have to go defeat Ganon. You have to, do awaken the sages and defeat Ganon. So those are 2 distinct quests in the game.
You're right. You're right.
There's that turning point. So Ocarina of Time, in a sense, no, A Link to the Past. Link to the Past, and that is a top-down one. Link to the Past set that standard, that precedent, because that was the Dark World, right?
Yep.
You go to Hyrule Castle, you collected the 3 pendants, you get the Master Sword, you go to Hyrule Castle, you think that's the end of the quest. Boom, Dark World. So, so a lot of the games, and A Link Between Worlds does low roll. I mean, but that's the same thing. So I would like something like that. So how about this? What if you have your first quest and you have a set of objectives to do, and you can do them in any order. It's still open world. And let's say you've got like 4 things to do. And then once you complete those 4 things to do, then the world opens up and it's 50% bigger and you've got a new set of 4 things to do in any order.
Ooh, that would be awesome, dude. Yes, that'd be cool. Or imagine this. Okay, so they just released Cyberpunk 2077.
Uh-huh.
And that game has a lot of issues.
A lot.
But it is one of the biggest video games known to date. The map is like twice the size of Grand Theft Auto 5. The campaign alone takes 45 hours, not to mention the hundreds of hours of side content that you can do.
Yeah.
Now, you can easily beat Breath of the Wild story in 25, 30 hours. You can do that without a problem. What if you have Hyrule, the same base map, but then you travel to like Labrina or Holodrum, or you travel, or you somehow stumble upon Koholint Island again. What if they combine different enemies? I'm not sure how this would work or flow correctly, but what if this incarnation of Ganon has the ability to summon villains that the other heroes have faced? And so you have to face Varen, you have to face Onox, you have to fight Vadi, you have to fight, what's the wind or the nightmare from Link's Awakening?
Right.
What if you have to fight, different boss? Well, I mean, that's a recurring thing, like fighting different bosses in multiple Zelda games.
Right.
But what if they did that? Like, or they created like a universal type story where Ganon like manipulates reality, and you have to, and it's kind of like a Spider-Verse but with Link.
That was kind of my idea for Hyrule Warriors 2. Would it be that like Link teams up with different versions of Link? Like basically the same thing with Hyrule Warriors 1. It's from all across the timeline, have the same characters but add some new ones, but the campaign would consist of Link teaming up with different versions of Link, and that's how they could kind of top it. But Nintendo pulled a Nintendo and did something completely different with their Hyrule Warriors sequel. And instead of doing Hyrule Warriors 2, they did Breath of the Wild Hyrule Warriors, and I'm not mad.
It's an amazing game. It's so much fun. Dude, my next highest character is actually Zelda. She's level 23. And Daruk is level 22, but my Link is level 36.
Yeah, Link is my main.
Amazing.
Link is like level 70 something for me, and all the other characters are like 50. Link is again, and just like in the original Hyrule Warriors, Link is my main. He is the character that is powered up the most, and I 90% of the time use the Master Sword.
Oh yeah, dude, I have the Master Sword. Right now it's like level 4 and has like 43 damage. Something like that.
Yeah, I level up my Master Sword well beyond my other weapons.
Yeah, I will say I don't like two-handed weapons. I don't like the fact that you have to sacrifice some of your life to do attacks. But I do like, I really enjoy using spears.
Yeah.
His special with spears is insane.
Yeah.
It is insane. Cool. It is so cool. And I love the fact that you can dash and then press the X button to like surf on your shield and knock over giant waves of enemies. That's so cool.
It's so cool.
It's so good. But yeah, we're kind of going off on a tangent here. What I said dungeons, and you said
same thing, dungeons. But also, I guess I'll say also, yeah, is let's have a second quest, or let's have a world that opens up partway through.
Oh yeah.
So that would be cool. Yeah. Hell, what they could do is the first quest could be the original Breath of the Wild map. Second quest is the new one. I don't know.
It like opens up to where you can go across the ocean, and you have to save that kingdom, or oh god.
It's funny. I say second quest. Second quest means something different in Zelda games. It means your new game plus, basically. So, what am I trying to say? Just the middle of, the turning point where you have a completely new quest.
And the beauty of this conversation, Ash, is that we don't know what they're going to do.
We don't know what they're going to do.
And
they're probably going to do nothing that we just said, and they're still going to amaze us.
Or all of it.
You know what I mean?
All I know is that there better be, and I will end my spiel on this with this statement. There needs to be a fight in Breath of the Wild style with a human form of Ganondorf, and they need to make it hard.
Yeah.
Even if you make Link OP, they need to make it to where you need to make Link OP just to stand a chance against the final boss. They need to make it... Calamity Ganon is a joke. It is a beautiful looking boss, and it's a fun fight, but it's easy, and you can take him down, especially if you have all 4 Divine Beasts.
Yeah.
You get his health down to half, and then Dark Beast Ganon is laughable. It's a joke. And they need to nail the story, and they need to make the final boss somewhat doable if you're OP.
Yeah.
Like, if you've done everything, then you can stand toe-to-toe with the final boss and maybe beat him. Like, I want to get angry at this game because of how hard the final boss is. I want it to, yes, it needs to be open world, but they need to make Hyrule Castle less accessible. I don't like the fact that you could literally just Rivali's Gale and fly straight to the dungeon. They need to make Hyrule Castle a giant dungeon and lead up to the final boss with a giant staircase. I'm sorry, that's just.
Well, Hyrule Castle is a giant dungeon. It's just a giant dungeon that you can totally skip. If you can delve into it to get extra stuff, but like just to get to Ganon, nah.
You can just climb to the top or use Rivali's Gale. It's a joke, but they need to make Hyrule Castle the only dungeon that you can't just go to the top. It needs to be completely sealed off, or they make it to where the top of the castle. Well, you see in the trailer that the castle lifts up. We didn't talk about this. The castle lifts up off of the ground, so it potentially goes into the sky. So what if they're doing a tribute to Skyward Sword, and the next part of the game takes place in the sky?
In the sky. Holy shit, you were blowing my mind, dude.
Oh man, I wish people listening to this could see Ash's face. That was beautiful. That was priceless. He's like, "Holy shit, you're blowing my mind."
No, my dick is literally in my hands right now. I'm jacking off to the thought of this.
All right, guys, thanks for listening. Man, okay, all right. Well, I think with that, we can wrap it up. You want to do an ad read real quick? Just
Ad
kidding.
read.
Somebody please sponsor us.
Hey, safe space. What is it called? Squarespace. Squarespace is a free blah 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 blah. You know, we could do really good apps or ads. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying.
Doing this podcast is really comfortable. But you know what else is comfortable? MeUndies.
Perfect. See, you got it, dude. You got it. That is what we got to do. MeUndies. Perfect. You nailed it.
We could contact MeUndies and see if they could sponsor us. If anybody's listening, help us get sponsors. Let's get this podcast. I want money. I'm just kidding.
Man,
no,
that was such a smooth ad read. Do you know what else is smooth? Using Squarespace to create your own website.
or you know what else is smooth? Manscaped. Have you ever nicked your balls?
No, I could have totally done a what's the fucking shaving company's name?
Harry's?
No,
$5 Shave Club?
yeah, there you go. $5 Shave Club.
Look at me just knowing all the companies that sponsor people.
All right. So, guys, if you Collateral gamers, if you enjoy this episode, please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcast or your rate us on your platform of choice. You can find Collateral Gaming wherever you get your podcasts. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, now Pandora. That's new. Just got on
your
Pandora.
mom's computer.
What?
And your mom's computer.
We're in your mom's DMs. Watch out.
Yeah, I stay there, bro. Like, y'all better put your safeguards up. I'm coming.
But
literally and
we didn't even
figuratively.
relate this, dude. Did we even talk about why this is a holiday thing? So, okay, Zelda. The reason why we chose Zelda is Zelda's typically a holiday release. Breath of the Wild wasn't, by the way, but Zelda games typically are a holiday release. That's kind of how this idea came about. But yeah, happy holidays, guys. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. Hope you have a good time. We just had an amazing Christmas ourselves. Stay tuned for our Christmas or / holiday special. We're going to be talking about Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And then next month, we're going to be talking Ghost of Tsushima. And I am so excited about it.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be some good stuff coming up. And yeah, happy holidays, guys. It's always good to have these conversations with you, Ash. Pretty sure we'll keep it going after we stop recording, but that's just kind of the way we do things.
The way the cookie crumbles. And hit us up in the DMs. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We stay pretty active. You can add me personally, Ashley Allen Chancellor. I'm everywhere.
Yep, you can do the same with me. My name's Zachary Gio. You at Zio. That's my last name, but with a Z instead of a G. So good luck figuring out how to spell that. I'll leave that
French.
to you. It is French.
Croissant.
Croissant.
I think we need to get out of here.
Yeah, we do. All right, man.
Bye. Collateral Gaming is an L Company production. All music and game clips are owned by their respective creators and are used for educational purposes only. Please don't sue us. We're poor.
All right. So, Death of the Child. Just kidding. That's horrible.